Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Christina and I'm the Education Coordinator with the DuPage County Farm Bureau. Now today we're going to be talking about a really special animal, and if you watched our pizza lesson, we touched on this animal a little bit. So today we're going to be talking all about dairy cows. We're going to learn how dairy cows are cared for, how they're milked, and how that milk gets all the way from the farm to our table. So let's start off talking about some dairy breeds. Now, a breed is a type of cow. So usually when we think about dairy cows, we think about the black and white spotted ones, like the one in our picture here. Those are called Holstein cows, and they're actually the most popular breed of dairy cow in the United States. Holsteins give the most milk, so a lot of farmers will choose to raise Holstein cows. But we have some other dairy breeds that are popular too. Some examples are Jerseys and Ayrshires and milking Shorthorns. You can see in our pictures here, they just look a little different. Maybe they have different colors, like some are brown or some are brown and white spots. And so all of these cows give us milk. Now you may have heard something that, like the saying that said, brown cows give us chocolate milk. Do you think that's true? No, that is not true. All cows give us white milk. We are the ones who add in the chocolate, right? Either with a syrup or a powder, we'll mix it in and make our own chocolate milk. So always remember that no matter how the cow looks, all dairy cows are giving us white milk. Now, there are some special terms that we use when we're talking about dairy cows. When we have a whole mix of them, both males and females, we'll call them cattle. Now, the males and females both have special names. So let's start off with the females. So first we have a heifer. Heifers are dairy cattle that have not had a calf. Once they have a calf, then they're called cows. And only cows give us milk. So females are cows that have had a calf and they produce milk. So this top picture here, this is of a dairy cow, and you can see this really special body part on her right here. This is called an udder, and that's actually where the milk is stored. So our babies are called calves, and then we have the males. So a bull is a male, and they're the ones that are used for breeding. So they're the fathers of all the calves. And then we have steers, and steers are males that are not used for breeding, and they're usually sold off like beef cows to be made into meat. So dairy cows also live in dairy barns, just like you and I live in a house. What are some reasons do you think that dairy cows live in barns? So dairy cows live in barns for shelter, just like we live in houses. So some things that we're protecting the cows from are things like weather, like storms, or maybe the temperature, if it's really hot or really cold. Dairy cows are really susceptible to heat. They can get overheated. So it's really important, especially in the summer, that we keep our cows cool. You can see in this barn here, all of those fans that are running around the top of it. So those are helping to keep the cows cool. We also want to keep our cows safe from predators that might try to eat or harm the cows. And we also want to make sure that our cows have access to fresh food and water all the time. So this barn in the picture, this is called a free stall barn. You can see that the cows are free to roam around wherever they want. They can lay down in their stalls that have a sand bedding, and they also have access to food and water. So on this right side over here, you can see this is their feed trough. So this is where all the food that they can eat is located. So let's talk a little bit about what these cows are eating. Now, dairy cows, they're around 1,500 pounds. So they're really, really big animals. So they have to eat a lot of food. A dairy cow will eat about 100 pounds of food every day. And they're eating things like grain, like ground up corn or soybean meal. They'll also eat things like hay and grass, and silage, which is stored hay and grass or chopped up corn stalks that have been sealed and fermented. So that's a way to store their food. Now, dairy farmers will work a lot of times with a veterinarian or a nutritionist to help come up with a recipe for their cows to make sure they're getting all of the right nutrition that they need to stay healthy. And cows will actually do this really interesting thing called chewing cud. Now, cows have 4 compartments to their stomach, so they're considered ruminant animals. So there's a process called rumination where they'll actually chew their food, they'll swallow it, and then it will go into the first compartment of their stomach called the rumen, and then they're going to regurgitate it. So they bring it back up to their mouths and they keep chewing it. And this is called chewing the cud, and they will actually do this for about 8 hours every single day. Now, along with all that food, dairy cows have to drink a lot of water. On average, they'll drink 30 to 50 gallons of water every single day. So if you think about a gallon of milk or a gallon of water that you might buy at the store, dairy cows have to drink 30 to 50 of those. And that's the equivalent of an entire bathtub. So cows drink a lot of water. Now, cows' bodies are converting all that food and water and making milk. So like we said before, only the females that have had a calf can make milk. That milk is stored in the udders. So farmers will use special milking machines that will attach to the cow, and it will actually suction out the milk from their udders. So the milk is never touched by human hands, and so it cannot be contaminated. So these milking machines can actually milk a cow in just 5 minutes. And the cows will milk 2 to 3 times a day, and each day they're giving about 8 to 10 gallons of milk. Now, farmers are tracking all of their cows. They like to track their nutrition, their health, their movement, and how much milk they're giving. So a lot of times you'll see dairy cows with trackers either around their neck or maybe around their ankle that's showing all of their activity that they're doing. So you can see this computer screen picture over here on the left. This is what the farmer is seeing when the cow is being milked. And it's going to track the cow's milking over time so the farmer can see how that cow is doing. So I have a cool video here from our friends at Linkadis Holsteins in Kane County, and this is on their dairy farm, so you can see how a robotic milker actually works. So let's take a look at it. All right, so that is how the milking machines actually work. You could see that it was all robotic. The farmer didn't have to do anything. The cow just walks in and it uses sensors and cameras to locate the cow's teats and attach, and then it begins to milk and pull that milk out of the udder. And it's really gentle. It's just a little suction. That vacuum, kind of like a vacuum that sucks the milk out, kind of like a calf suckling. So it's really gentle. It doesn't hurt the cows at all. So once our cows have been milked, what happens next? Well, first on the farm, the milk is cooled and stored. So the milk is cooled down below 45 degrees. So we want to make sure that it doesn't grow any bacteria or things that could make us sick. So then when the milk is ready, a milk truck that's refrigerated will actually transport it to the milk plant, and then it's going to be tested. So just like us, sometimes cows will get sick and maybe need medicine or antibiotics. If that's the case, those cows are pulled out of the milking herd and their milk is dumped. So this testing, they're also testing for antibiotics and stuff. So your milk is safe. There's never any antibiotics or medicine in your milk because it's always tested for it. And if anything happens, that milk is dumped out and it never reaches the store. So once the milk is tested for safety and quality, it goes through a couple of different processes. It goes through pasteurization and it's homogenized. So these are kind of big words, right? Well, pasteurizing, that means that they're heating up the milk really high and then cooling it down. And so this is going to kill any bacteria or anything in the milk that could potentially make us sick. And then the next step is homogenizing. And that means that we're breaking down the fat particles in milk so that the milk doesn't separate. We don't want the heavier fat particles to separate from the rest of the liquid of the milk. So they just break down those fat particles so our milk doesn't separate while it's in our fridges. So once that happens, then the milk is bottled into different containers and then shipped to the grocery store where we can buy it. Now, milk is considered a local food. It only takes 48 hours to get from the cow all the way to the grocery store. And 48 hours is about 2 days. So what states produce the most milk? I want you to take a second and think about what state you think produces the most milk. You may have heard this before. All right. Well, California actually produces the most milk in the United States. A lot of people think that it's Wisconsin, especially us here in Illinois. We hear a lot about Wisconsin dairies, but Wisconsin is actually second, and then New York is third. Well, here in Illinois, we actually have 680 licensed dairy herds, and we have 24 milk processing plants. So we do have milk production in our state as well. Now, there's something really cool you can do with your milk at home or maybe in your classroom with your teacher. Every container of milk that you buy has a special code on it, and you can find out where your milk was processed. So there's a special website. It's called whereismymilkfrom.com. That's whereismymilkfrom.com. So you can put in your special code that's on your milk. Usually it's up by the expiration date. You can see in my picture here, I have it circled. It's usually 2 numbers followed by a dash and then 1 to 5 numbers. So you go to this website, put in your code, and it's going to tell you exactly where your milk was processed at. So this milk that I bought here at my house, it told me that it came from Dubuque, Iowa, which is just on the Illinois-Iowa border. So something really fun you can try at home. Now, milk has a lot of good things in it for us. A lot of times we hear that milk has a lot of calcium, and that's true, but it actually has 9 essential nutrients that are good for all different parts of our body. So we have our calcium, which helps maintain our strong bones. We have potassium, which helps our heart pump blood. Phosphorus, that builds strong bones and teeth. Protein, which preserves and builds our muscles. Vitamin A, that's really good for our eye health. Vitamin D, that helps promote bone growth. Vitamin B12, which maintains our brain function. Riboflavin, which helps us convert food to fuel. And then niacin, which helps us maintain a normal body function. So sometimes milk will even be called the almost perfect food because it's so healthy for us. All right, so milk is also made into all different kinds of dairy products. I want you to go around your classroom and I just want you to say a dairy product that either you know about or maybe one that's your favorite that you really, really like. All right, so we know all dairy products are made from milk, right? So I just have some examples here of some really common ones that maybe you said were your favorite. So we've got cheese and butter, ice cream and yogurt, cream cheese, whipped cream, even things like cottage cheese. All of these things come from milk and are made from dairy. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching our dairy lesson. I hope next time you go to the store and pick up some milk, you think about where your milk came from and how dairy cows are cared for. So with that, we will see you next time. Bye.